Greetings, fellow cultivators. Welcome to Autonova. Remember to like and subscribe to support the journey. Now, let's dive into the next chapter of A Will Eternal. I got my Earth-type Diva soul. My trip to the Bai clan wasn't without its dangers, but in the end, it was worth it. With those thoughts on his mind, Bai Xiaochun looked around with increased vigilance. Even as he contemplated how rewards come only with risk, he realized that his thinking was yet again getting out of line, and corrected himself. No. I can't start thinking like that. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it at all. I can't use the Diva soul to try to comfort myself. He even smacked himself a few times to try to get some sense into his head. Although, on the other hand, the wildlands is a fundamentally dangerous place for me, so I really had no choice. With that, he pulled out the Earth-type Diva soul. Eyes shining with anticipation, he took a deep breath and then pushed it into his chest. The instant it touched him, he used the secret magic he had learned in the sepulchre to merge with the soul. Instantly, strands of yellow light spread out through his body, filling him. It was a feeling he hadn't experienced in quite some time, and also a feeling that virtually no one else in the world had ever experienced. And yet, he had experienced it 3 times already, with this being the 4th. After completely merging with the soul, and being filled with light, he slowly opened his eyes. Although his cultivation base hadn't improved, his battle prowess was now far beyond what it was before. Furthermore, there were a total of 4 swirling vortexes hidden away inside of him, within each of which was a clone. Each one of those clones was just as powerful as he was, both in terms of cultivation base and fleshly body power. Even their divine sense was the same. Including his true self in the mix, he was now able to essentially become 5 people. 5 cultivators in the Great Circle of the Heaven Dao Gold Core stage, 5 cultivators in the 3rd level of the Undying Live Forever technique. Any one of them could fight toe-to-toe with an early nascent soul stage expert, and possibly even kill that opponent. If they all fought together, they would be so terrifying that even the mid-nascent soul stage would be like nothing to them. Bai Xiaochun was more excited than ever, and was now feeling a lot more confident about being alone in the wildlands. With my 4 clones, I could most likely even handle someone in the Great Circle of the nascent soul stage. The only thing to really be scared of would be a diva. And if the Bai clan diva patriarch tries to chase me, then I can always use my demigod soul. He was still nervous, but at least he had options. Of course, he knew that the Bai clan would never let him off the hook. From now, he would have to worry about them trying to track him down. However, he was also confident that they wouldn't be able to keep it up forever. Let's just see how far they're willing to push things. If they make me, I'll use my demigod soul to injure their diva. Even if I only wound him, the other 2 clans and Giant Ghost City, as well as any other enemies they have, would surely take advantage of the situation to make a move. After thinking about the matter a bit more, he gritted his teeth and sped into motion, heading, not toward Giant Ghost City, but toward the depths of the wildlands. His goal now was merely to buy time. Meanwhile, outside the Bai clan, the clan chief was flying along, surrounded by a murderous aura and grim coldness. Countless vengeful souls had been formed together into a huge soul ship which carried him along with frightening speed. He was moving far more quickly than he could on his own, thanks to a secret magic that was quite draining. However, as the clan chief, he had access to plenty of soul medicine to make up for the loss. And yet, he still wasn't happy with that level of speed, and also poured some power directly from his cultivation base into the soul ship, giving it an even greater boost. Rumbling sounds filled heaven and earth as the soul ship shot along, leaving afterimages behind as the clan chief used the divine sense seal given by the patriarch to track down his quarry. Must go faster. Because of the divine sense seal, he could tell that Bai Xiaochun was picking up speed, but that he was actually very close. As long as he maintained his current speed, he would likely catch up within 3 days. As those days went by, the patriarch's orders gradually grew weak in the mind of the clan chief. His desire to kill Bai Hao became like a black hole that sucked in everything else. At one point, the clan chief suddenly reached up and hit the top of his head, causing a violet stream of light to emerge from his forehead. The light rapidly formed into the shape of a little flag. Then, the clan chief performed an incantation gesture, which caused the flag to rapidly grow into a huge banner which he reached out and grabbed. "You can't escape, you unfilial bastard." He spit out some life essence blood onto the banner, which began to radiate scintillating light. At the same time, the clan chief produced a huge batch of soul medicine that he tossed into the banner. Rumbling sounds echoed out, and lightning crackled around the banner as the clan chief then planted it down onto the surface of the soul ship. Rumble. Lightning danced around the soul ship as its speed suddenly increased exponentially. The blinding speed with which the ship now moved surpassed anything from the nascent soul stage. This was clearly the power of the Diva realm. Of course, for every breath of time that such speed was unleashed, a huge amount of soul medicine would be drained. Not even the clan chief had access to enough soul medicine to keep it going for more than about 2 hours. 2 hours. That's all I need to catch up to you. In his madness, the clan chief was pulling out all the stops to try to catch Bai Xiaochun. As the clan chief shot along with heaven-defying speed, time passed, and he could sense Bai Xiaochun getting closer and closer. He's right in front of me. By craning his neck, he was now just able to make out Bai Xiaochun off in the distance. Bai Xiaochun was shocked, considering how fast he was moving. Only the Diva Patriarch should have been able to catch up to him so quickly. In fact, as soon as he realized that someone was closing in on him, he quickly pulled out his demigod soul-hoarding pagoda and looked over his shoulder with a serious expression. However, when he saw that it was just a soul ship with the clan chief on it, his jaw dropped. He almost couldn't believe that the clan chief had dared to chase after him alone. Then he noticed the huge banner and the shocking soul fluctuations coming off it. Furthermore, he got the sensation that there was an eye looking at him from within the banner. It didn't feel like the eye of a diva. Instead, it felt similar to the true spirit back in the river-defying sect, or the true spirit in the pagoda back at the Great Wall. Although it wasn't as powerful as either of those other true spirits, it was similar. Don't tell me it's a counterfeit? Although something seemed off about the situation, what was most important was that the clan chief was closing in on him with murderous rage. Die, you unfilial bastard. The clan chief shot toward him with incredible speed, apparently attempting to ram him with the soul ship. Face falling, Bai Xiaochun drew upon his ability to make everything around him slow down, and yet, considering how fast the soul ship was moving, it didn't do much good. He just barely managed to leap out of the way in time, whereupon the soul ship screamed past him. Considering how fast he's going, and the fact that he's relying on that treasure, don't tell me he really came alone to try to kill me? Even as he fell back, he sent his divine sense out to check for anyone else, but to his surprise, didn't find anything. I can see you, Bai Clan Patriarch, he shouted. Show your face. And you too, clan elders. I can see everyone. Stop hiding, all of you. At that point, the clan chief leapt off of the soul ship, performing a double-handed incantation gesture that summoned a horde of vengeful souls, which merged together to make an enormous evil ghost head. Roaring, the head launched itself toward Bai Xiaochun to consume him. I can cut you down on my own, Bai Hao. You killed my son, so now I'm going to make you wish you could die. He's really alone? As the evil ghost head shot toward him, Bai Xiaochun's eyes flickered, and he performed an incantation gesture, summoning a huge violet cauldron, which went on to smash into the huge ghost head. During the resulting boom, Bai Xiaochun quickly bit his tongue. Blood spurted out of his mouth, and he shrieked as he flew backward. He almost looked like he was scared for his life, and in fact, he even pulled out a handful of teleportation talismans. However, his eyes continued to dart around. Clearly, he still wasn't convinced that the Diva Patriarch wasn't in the area. When the clan chief saw that Bai Xiaochun had pulled out a handful of teleportation talismans and was about to crush them, he let out a defiant roar. On the one hand, he was fairly confident that, considering the current speed he was capable of, he would still be able to catch his quarry again even if he teleported away. But 8 teleportation talismans? In the wildlands, even a single teleportation talisman was extremely expensive, the type of thing that required heavenspan river water to acquire. The clan chief's eyes shone with intense killing intent. By now, he wanted to kill Bai Hao more than anything else. Performing a double-handed incantation gesture, he drew on the explosive power of his mid-nascent soul cultivation base to summon a massive black hole that instantly caused the air in all directions to distort. He also sent his divine sense streaming out as he took a step forward, a step that instantly placed him right in front of Bai Xiaochun. Then he reached out with a vicious motion to grab him. Even if you flee to the ends of the earth, I'll still catch you. His hand pierced through the air to appear in front of Bai Xiaochun's face. If Bai Xiaochun crushed the talismans to teleport away, the clan chief would likely be able to stop him from getting away, but would be injured in the process. From the vicious expression on the clan chief's face, Bai Xiaochun could tell what he was thinking. However, he was used to keeping his cool. Eyes flickering, it was without the slightest hesitation that he crushed the teleportation talismans. Rumble. Even as the clan chief's hand closed in, the power of teleportation rose up, and Bai Xiaochun vanished. The clan chief grabbed nothing but air. You're not getting away, the clan chief roared. Waving his sleeve in fury, he leapt back onto the soul ship and once again used the violet banner and the divine will seal to give chase. Enough time passed for half an incense stick to burn. Bai Xiaochun was some distance away, racing along and simultaneously contemplating what to do. If there were other people waiting around ready to jump into the fight, they wouldn't have just sat around and watched me leave. Don't tell me that the clan chief really came after me on his own? Bai Xiaochun almost couldn't believe that it was true. The reality of the situation was that although everyone back in the Bai clan had witnessed him survive the attack of the Diva Patriarch's palm, to them, it had seemed like someone in the great circle of core formation escaping from a diva by means of a few tricks. In fact, that was how they viewed everything, from the teleportation talismans to the murder soul spikes. The only thing that a nascent soul cultivator would have to fear was his 12-colored flame. And yet, any nascent soul cultivator who truly went all out in the fight would probably be able to disregard that as a real threat. Besides, the clan chief was in the mid-nascent soul stage, and was therefore completely convinced that he would be able to kill him. Bai Xiaochun was still unsure about the situation. Another thing, was it really just a coincidence that the clan chief managed to track me down so quickly and accurately? Even as he pondered the matter, he suddenly spun in place, his eyes widening. There, off in the distance, was a violet glow, racing toward him at incredible speed. It was none other than the clan chief. He's still chasing me. All right, he obviously knows exactly where I am. Not a bit of time was wasted. He must have a way to track me. His eyes flashed, and his heart thumped with anxiety, but at the same time, he knew that there was no point in fleeing. Mid-nascent soul stage. All right, clan chief, you're really forcing my hand. Abandoning thoughts of escaping, Bai Xiaochun roared, drawing on the full power of his fleshly body to prepare to fight. Although it didn't look particularly special, the power of the third level of the Undying Live Forever technique had long since filled his entire body. He was like an explosive dragon in human form. As the clan chief closed in, Bai Xiaochun took a step forward, propelling himself ahead with such lightning-like speed that he became a blur of afterimages. And yet, Bai Xiaochun was still not satisfied with that level of speed. Mountain-shaking bash, he shouted, using one of the secret magics of the Undying Codex. His already astonishing speed increased, causing rumbling sounds to fill the air as he essentially vanished. When he reappeared, he was right in front of the clan chief, focusing all of the power in his body onto his right hand, which reached out in a grasping motion. He was using the throat-crushing grasp. All of this takes a bit of time to describe, but actually happened in the time it takes a spark to fly off of a piece of flint. Furthermore, what was occurring seemed completely unbelievable. Even the clan chief's eyes went wide, before settling back into a mask of viciousness. Feeling suicidal? His hands flashed in a double-handed incantation gesture before waving wide, which caused a violet shield of light to spring up around him. That shield was a defensive mechanism powered by his cultivation base and bolstered by some magical items. The clan chief's face was filled with murder and hatred as he then lunged toward Bai Xiaochun. Your cultivation base might be higher than I'd realized, you unfilial bastard, but I refuse to believe that it's the same with your fleshly body power. Even as the clan chief roared, the distance between him and Bai Xiaochun closed. From a distance, they looked like two shooting stars, streaking through the sky on a collision course. The moment they collided, heaven-shaking, earth-shattering rumbling swept out. The air shattered as a huge boom filled the air, a deafening noise that vastly surpassed heavenly thunder. There were even rifts torn open left and right. An agonized shriek escaped the clan chief's lips. Blood sprayed out of his mouth as the soul ship was sent spinning off to the side, and he tumbled backward head over heels, his hair in complete disarray. Shock and disbelief could be seen on his face as he roared, "You're not Bai Hao." Bai Xiaochun remained in the spot where they had collided, his body tingling a bit. It had been a long time since he bashed into someone like this, and it was also the first time that he was stricken by how incredibly powerful his fleshly body was. Not only had bashing into his opponent not hurt, but the tingling sensation it left behind was actually slightly pleasurable. Bai Xiaochun's eyes immediately began to glow brightly. Of course, there was no time to sit around enjoying the pleasurable feeling. Seeing that the clan chief had lost the initiative in the fight, Bai Xiaochun took a step forward, smacking his bag of holding to produce Zhou Yixing's great bow. Without any hesitation, he took advantage of the initiative he had gained to unleash more than 100 arrows in a single volley. He didn't need to summon the arrows himself, all he needed to do was feed some soul power into the bow itself, which would then create the soul arrows. Technically, Bai Xiaochun's cultivation base didn't operate on soul power, but after his spiritual energy was changed by his mask, it would function the same. Twang, 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 twang. In the blink of an eye, more than 100 arrows shot into the air, becoming like a rainfall that could destroy anything it landed on. The arrows moved with blinding speed, piercing through the air with rumbling sounds. Before the clan chief could even react, the first arrow was in front of him, where it exploded. Then, the other arrows arrived, all of them exploding in quick succession. The clan chief had no choice other than to anxiously evade the attack. However, despite the quickness with which he moved, Bai Xiaochun's eyes glittered as he opened his heaven-span Dharma eye. Instantly, a violet beam of light shot out and landed onto the clan chief. "Take control," Bai Xiaochun shouted. The clan chief's heart began to pound with shock as he found that, unexpectedly, he had stopped moving. Considering he couldn't move, there was nothing he could do to evade the force of more than 100 exploding arrows. The air distorted and the lands quaked, and soon, it was almost impossible to even see the clan chief. There was even a nearby mountain that collapsed because of the force of the exploding arrows. However, that was when a shout of complete defiance and anger rang out. "You still don't qualify to kill me." His voice contained incredible frustration and rage, the type of fury that could only come from watching one's own beloved son be killed. Based on the tone of his voice, it was as if every moment in which Bai Hao existed, there were countless invisible forces screaming at him in fury, accusing and blaming him for what had occurred. Rage built upon rage, and echoed out with the clan chief's voice as an enormous soul fist smashed into the exploding arrows. This soul fist was fully 300 meters from top to bottom, and was formed from countless souls. This was a secret magic of the Bai clan, the 30,000-meter soul fist. At the moment, it wasn't 30,000 meters, and that was because of the level of the clan chief's cultivation base. However, even a 300-meter soul fist was still nothing to scoff at. Quicker than words could tell, the soul fist appeared, smashing through the air to bear down on Bai Xiaochun. Bang! Deafening rumbling sounds filled the area. Bai Xiaochun's face fell, and he immediately fell back. However, even as he did, the clan chief roared, spinning in place as he released a second 300-meter soul fist, which rumbled through the air, emitting shocking pressure the entire time. After that was a third fist, then a fourth. In the blink of an eye, heaven and earth twisted and distorted as a total of 9 fists in a row were unleashed on Bai Xiaochun. 9 soul fists rumbled through the air like 9 magical sealing marks. Before Bai Xiaochun could react, they were there in front of him, where they began to detonate. Although he immediately began to fall back, there was no way he could completely evade injury. As one explosion after another ripped through the air, Bai Xiaochun staggered backward several steps, his aura flickering and his eyes widening. This was the first time he had fought such a deadly battle with someone in the mid-nascent soul stage. As of this moment, he was now convinced that, given his current battle prowess, he could fight someone in this level without the help of his clones, but most likely couldn't kill them. However, that just goes to show how much I've progressed. Taking a deep breath, he endured the blasts of the clan chief's 9 soul fists. Even as the air was still distorted, the clan chief lunged forward, his hair in disarray and his eyes completely bloodshot as he became a flowing stream of light that attacked Bai Xiaochun. Bai clan's secret magic, 100 ghosts haunt the night. His voice seemed to erupt from the 9 serenities underworld. Gusts of sinister wind pulsed out as his divine sense filled the area. This secret magic was different from the similarly named secret magic from the Spirit Stream sect. The Bai clan's version used divine sense to transform into ghosts. Despite the fact that it was clearly daytime, this secret magic caused the entire 300-meter area to become as dark as night. It was a pitch-black night that the light of day could not pierce, a place ruled by a black sun. Furthermore, within that black sun, 100 eyes suddenly opened. The eyes were as red as blood and matchlessly vicious. At the same time, countless roars split the air, causing heaven and earth to shake. Then, 100 evil ghosts poured out from the black sun. The ghosts themselves were pitch black, and each one sported 2 horns on its heads. They had long, sharp claws, crimson eyes, and gaping, blood-red maws. They radiated the most sinister of auras, and truly seemed like the type of ghosts one would expect to haunt the night. After swirling once around the clan chief, they howled and followed the line of his finger to charge toward Bai Xiaochun. These ghosts were the antithesis of sunlight, to the point where sunlight would retreat in front of them. As such, their passage only caused the darkness of the night to grow deeper. "Let's see how you get out of this alive, you unfilial bastard," the clan chief shouted, his voice vibrating with hatred. Bai Xiaochun was shaken. the sight of so many evil ghosts was definitely terrifying. However, after everything he had gone through in the labyrinth, and then his later experiences learning about flame conjuring in the wildlands, he was no longer very scared of ghosts. In fact, the sight of so many evil ghosts bearing claws and fangs as they rushed toward him only caused a serious expression to appear on his face. "Alright, I'll show you how I'll get out of it alive." His right hand flashed with an incantation gesture, and an afterimage appeared, which was none other than his fire clone. Instantly, the clan chief's eyes went wide with astonishment. "A clone?" he blurted. "You actually have a clone." The fire clone looked like Bai Xiaochun's true self in every aspect, including his appearance, his cultivation base, his fleshly body, and his overall strength. The only difference was that the clone's aura seemed to contain a small bit of fire-type power. As soon as he appeared, he joined with Bai Xiaochun's true self to unleash a fist strike against the 100 ghosts. For this clone to join the fight meant that Bai Xiaochun's battle prowess had instantly doubled. When the two of them unleashed a fist strike, it caused a tempest to spring up in front of them, which swirled out to smash into the ghosts. Booms filled the air, and at the same time, Bai Xiaochun's clone grunted and stumbled backward. As for the clan chief, his face fell as he also fell backward several paces, his fury blazing and his murderous desires growing. "It doesn't matter if you have a clone. You still don't qualify to live when I attack you." With that, he took a step forward, performing something like a minor teleportation that placed him right in front of Bai Xiaochun. There, he summoned a 3,000-meter-wide cloud of souls and then lashed out at Bai Xiaochun with a palm strike. "Minor teleportation? I can do that too." Instantly, frigid chi poured out, filling a 3,000-meter area and transforming it into a land of ice, a world that belonged solely to Bai Xiaochun. This was his frigid domain, and as such, the instant the clan chief's palm was about to strike him, he vanished, to reappear directly behind the clan chief. There, he unleashed his own palm strike. At the same time, his fire clone also struck. Simultaneously, another afterimage appeared, along with another clone. It was his wood clone, which didn't hesitate for the slightest moment to join his true self and the fire clone to also unleash a blow. "Damn it," growled the clan chief. Spinning, he waved his right hand, causing the 3,000-meter cloud of souls to sweep toward Bai Xiaochun and his two clones. Bang, bang, boom. The intensity of the resulting explosion caused the lands to shake violently. Crevices snaked out as the clan chief staggered backward, his face draining of blood as he glared at Bai Xiaochun. His eyes still shone with killing intent, but this time, there was also incredulity present. "Another clone? How many clones do you have?" The clan chief was shocked at how difficult it was to fight Bai Xiaochun, and was enraged at how he could increase his overall battle prowess by adding more people to the fight. "I refuse to believe that you have another one." Gritting his teeth, he used another minor teleportation to charge toward Bai Xiaochun. In the face of this onslaught, Bai Xiaochun and his two clones had no choice but to fall back. As he did, his face fell with the realization that, even with two clones at his side, he still wasn't quite a match for the mid-nascent soul stage. Only by summoning his third clone could he bridge that gap. If he had a fourth clone, he could be confident in coming out completely on top. Heavens. So, this is how the Heaven Dao nascent soul stage works. And I'm only in the beginning levels, still forming my clones. I can't even imagine what I'll be like in the Great Circle. Looking over at the clan chief teleporting his way in again, Bai Xiaochun's eyes flickered, and he also used a minor teleportation. Even as they closed in on each other, the clan chief could tell that the damnable Bai Hao was not yet going all out, and was actually using him to practice with his clones. Furthermore, he had shocking talent when it came to learning and adapting in the middle of a fight. And on top of all that, his battle prowess kept rising. All of that left the clan chief wallowing in humiliation. Howling, he threw both of his hands out in front of him to perform a double-handed incantation gesture. Eyes shining with mysterious light, he summoned a total of 9 soul-hoarding pagodas. Shrieks exploded from within the soul-hoarding pagodas as a whole cloud of vengeful souls erupted. The souls which appeared were clearly different from ordinary souls. Furthermore, instead of flying out to attack Bai Xiaochun, they actually shot toward the clan chief's eyes, and burrowed inside of him. Bai clan soul symbiosis. The clan chief threw his head back and let out a howl of agony and rage. As the souls bored into his body, his skin bulged and rippled as faces became visible. He immediately began to grow and transform, causing incredible pressure to radiate from him in all directions. As of this moment, a sensation of profound danger began to course through Bai Xiaochun. Before reaching the Diva realm, and in fact, before even reaching the true Heaven Dao nascent soul stage, he could not underestimate any nascent soul expert. Perhaps he would have had an easier time with someone in the early nascent soul stage, but this was a level above that. People in the mid-nascent soul stage often spent less time worrying about their next breakthrough, and more time focused on developing their trump cards. The clan chief was the perfect example. Stepping into the late nascent soul stage wouldn't necessarily be an impossible task for him. But instead of concentrating on that, he had spent a lot of time perfecting his trump cards. And that was exactly what the Bai clan soul symbiosis was. As soon as the vengeful souls entered his body, he felt as if he were being consumed alive. By drawing upon all the power he possibly could, he was able to use this secret magic to unify the power of tens of thousands of souls, utilizing his body as the medium with which to unleash heaven-shaking, earth-shattering power. Even for someone in his level of power, using a secret magic like this would drain him significantly. And yet, in his rage, and in his desire to cut Bai Hao down, he found the determination to disregard all negative aspects. "You will die," he screamed with vicious savagery. His voice sounded like a combination of tens of thousands of voices, causing brightly colored light to flash above him in the sky, and a massive wind to suddenly sweep through the area. Bai Xiaochun's expression flickered with fear. As of this point, the clan chief didn't even look human anymore. "Time to die." The clan chief threw his head back and roared, simultaneously flinging his hands up, which sent a boundless black fog roiling out to form the shape of a gigantic ghost head. The vicious head surrounded the clan chief, and then the both of them began to fly toward Bai Xiaochun. The air shattered as they approached, and the ground was destroyed beneath them. Mountains collapsed as a huge, 3,000-meter-wide crater opened up. Wailing screams filled the air like the howls of ghosts and wolves, countless voices, all of which poured out of the enormous head. "Die, die, die." Bai Xiaochun's expression turned deadly serious, and at the same time, another afterimage appeared as his water clone stepped out. As of this moment, he had 3 clones flanking his true self. All of them faced the enormous head, then shouted in an equally loud and shocking fashion. "Living mountain incantation." Booming rumbles filled the air. At the same time, Bai Xiaochun's true self began to grow in size. Countless boulders formed around him, until his body disappeared, replaced by a shocking, 300-meter-tall stone golem. Actually, it was not a single stone golem. His 3 clones also used the living mountain incantation. A second, third, and fourth stone golem appeared. Then, all 4 of them launched themselves toward the incoming clan chief and the gigantic head he had summoned. The combined attack of the 4 stone golems caused heaven and earth to shudder, and when they slammed into the gigantic head, the resulting boom shook the highest heavens and the deepest parts of the underworld. A mind-boggling shockwave spread out in all directions, spreading for tens upon tens of thousands of meters and destroying everything it touched. The gigantic head immediately shrunk down by more than half, and at the same time, Bai Xiaochun's true self, along with his 3 clones, all tumbled backward, blood spraying out of their mouths. Popping sounds could be heard as spider web-like cracks spread out across the surfaces of the stone golems. Then, moments later, all of the stone golems simply shattered to pieces. As Bai Xiaochun's true self and his clones fell back, the clan chief cackled with sinister laughter from inside of the huge head. "What other tricks do you have, you unfilial bastard?" Even as his laughter continued to ring out, the ghost head swept toward Bai Xiaochun with madness, killing intent, and intense rage. From the look of it, the clan chief was trying to wipe Bai Xiaochun away with one full power blow. How could I have guessed that even 3 clones couldn't beat his secret magic? Eyes shining with determination, Bai Xiaochun took a deep breath and then decided to use a move he had hoped to hold back. Considering how the fight had escalated, the fact that no one had interfered indicated that the Diva Patriarch really wasn't in the area. Presumably, other clan members were chasing him, but none of them were as maddened as the clan chief was, nor were they capable of his speed. It makes sense. I doubt anyone hates me as much as this clan chief does. Having reached this point in his train of thought, Bai Xiaochun didn't hesitate for another moment. Although he was trembling, his eyes shone with an intense desire to fight, a desire birthed of instinct and impossible to avoid. His Tao was to live forever, and he didn't like fighting and killing. He was even afraid of death. Although on many occasions it wasn't necessary to escalate to blows, sometimes, if you wanted to keep on living, you had to fight to the death. It had already become his nature to simply grit his teeth and fight, despite the fear which existed in his heart. Not even a diva could kill me, let alone some trifling mid-nascent soul stage cultivator. His hands flashed in a double-handed incantation gesture, and another afterimage appeared. This time, it was his 4th clone, the Earth clone. He now had 4 clones surrounding his true self, one on each side, a formation that instantly caused thunderous rumblings to roll across the sky, and the lands below to quake. The clan chief couldn't stop himself from gasping at the sight, and his face instantly fell. But then, he gritted his teeth and, seemingly ambivalent to his own life or death, sent the huge head of souls which surrounded him flying toward Bai Xiaochun, a vicious grin on its face. Sighing, Bai Xiaochun murmured, "Bai Hao, the time has come for Master to teach your father a lesson, and make sure he understands the unimaginable difference between the two of you." He took a deep breath, and then he and all 4 of his clones raised their arms up into the air, just like a conductor would when leading an orchestra. Water swamp. With his true self and all his clones doing the same thing, it caused the entire area for 30,000 meters to transform into a watery swampland. Dense water vapor pervaded the surroundings, causing the soil to grow loose. As the mist and fog built up, an aura filled the area that seemed to come from chaotic, primeval times. It seemed like the surrounding 30,000-meter area had been cut away from the wildlands and become its own dimension. Yet again, the clan chief's eyes went wide, and a very unsightly expression appeared on his ashen face. Before he could get any closer, Bai Xiaochun's eyes sparkled, and he threw his hands down viciously. At the same time, his 4 clones did exactly the same thing. Kingdom, boom, rumble, thump thump, a sound almost like a heartbeat filled the entire area, causing the sky to dim and the lands to tremble. Spikes appeared, shooting up out of the ground with shocking speed. Beneath the spikes were 5 mountains of such enormous size that the mere sight of them would leave one's heart trembling. The 5 pitch-black curved mountains were none other than the clawed hand of the beast that was Bai Xiaochun's life essence spirit. Up till now, the full hand had never appeared, only the claws. As for the clan chief, it didn't matter what secret magics he tried to unleash, compared to this beast, he was like a firefly beneath the full moon. The profound terror that gripped him left him physically shaking, and unable to keep from screaming. In his long life of cultivation, he had not felt such astonishment and terror even when facing a diva patriarch. It gripped his chest like a vice, and caused his eyes to grow wide as a terrifying premonition ran through him. Even if his trump cards were more powerful than they were, there was no way he could escape death at the hands of the enormous beast behind this huge claw. "No, I can't die here," he screamed, his aura driven to complete chaos. Abandoning any attempt to attack Bai Xiaochun, he turned to flee. The terror gripping his heart was the thing of nightmares. How could he have imagined that his unfilial son would be so powerful? He was so strong that the clan chief was filled with nothing but terror. "You can't be Bai Hao. Even if the clan spell formation didn't realize it, I know that you're not him." The shadow of death loomed over the clan chief to such an extent that he drew on all of his power, burning his cultivation base and longevity alike in his attempt to flee. If he didn't escape, he would die. However, no matter how fast he moved, he couldn't move as fast as that beast claw. The Water Swamp Kingdom was a divine ability that Bai Xiaochun had learned in the Spirit Stream sect. However, to date, the entirety of his life essence spirit had not yet been revealed. Only after merging with the diva souls he had acquired, and creating his clones, had he been able to reveal the beast's claws, to defend himself against Mistress Red Dust. However, the clawed hand visible now seemed much larger than the one that had appeared during his fight with Mistress Red Dust. The energy surging out seemed to obscure the will of the heavens. Furthermore, down beneath the curved claws was something that looked like a black landmass. However, it was no land, it was actually the hand of Bai Xiaochun's life essence spirit. It was impossible to even imagine what that hand would be like if it appeared fully out into the open. However, Bai Xiaochun's eyes shone in anticipation of the day when he would be able to fully employ his Water Swamp Kingdom, and see the beast as a whole. Even the claws should do. One day, if that clawed hand ever fully appeared in the open, it would likely blot out the sky, and leave even a diva wallowing in despair. It's definitely going to happen one day. Heart filled with anticipation, Bai Xiaochun simply watched as the curved claws descended onto the chief of the Bai clan. Even now, the incredible energy radiating from the gigantic claws seemed to indicate that one day, it would have the power to crush the heavens. From the perspective of the clan chief, those mountain-like claws filled the sky, and caused his heart to be overwhelmed by despair. "No," he screamed defiantly. In his madness, he held nothing back as he sent his trump card, the enormous ghost head, shooting toward the claws in a futile attempt to block them. Rumbling sounds filled the air, and at the same time, the world seemed to disappear around him. He screamed shrilly, but soon, the sound was drowned out. Heaven and earth shook violently, and then, the claws began to fade away. The 30,000-meter swamp disappeared, and in the soil which was revealed, 5 enormous ravine-like gouges could be seen. In the middle of them all was a person, blood oozing out of his mouth, his bones shattered, his chest barely moving. Anyone who looked at him would likely take him to be a corpse. The clan chief had been completely incapable of escaping from the unprecedented power of Bai Xiaochun's water swamp kingdom. He was a powerful expert in the mid-nascent soul stage, but Bai Xiaochun, who himself wasn't even a nascent soul cultivator, had been able to best him in battle. The clan chief was now seriously injured and gasping for breath. However, thanks to his powerful cultivation base and intense life force, he was still alive. Unfortunately, as he struggled to breathe, he realized that so many of his bones were crushed that he couldn't even move. He could only glare spitefully as Bai Xiaochun, smiling bitterly, but eyes flashing with indescribable hatred. "If you have what it takes, you unfilial bastard," he said, gasping angrily, "then just kill me." His grief and indignation were like oceans that completely inundated him. By this point, he refused to believe that this person in front of him was actually Bai Hao, and yet, couldn't imagine how an impostor could have fooled the clan's spell formation. In fact, not even the Diva Patriarch had seen any clues to indicate that this person was anyone other than Bai Hao. "Don't tell me you really are Bai Hao." Actually, the answer didn't really matter anymore. Whoever he was, the clan chief wouldn't hesitate to kill him if he could. Asking to be killed? Bai Xiaochun brushed the dust off his body and then pulled his 4 clones back inside of him. Then he walked a slow circle around the clan chief, looking at him closely to see how badly he was injured. Then he squatted down next to him and bopped him on the head. Glaring, he barked angrily, "Behave, all right, you," the clan chief growled, his anger surging again. The unfilial and rebellious behavior on display here was so outrageous that he felt utterly humiliated. Before, the difference between him and Bai Hao had been like that between heaven and earth. But now, it was the opposite, and that feeling pushed him further into madness. "Unfilial bastard. Unfilial son of a bitch." Suddenly, the clan chief coughed up a mouthful of blood and then lapsed into unconsciousness. All I did was bop you on the head. I didn't even use any force." Bai Xiaochun was already feeling slightly guilty. Considering that this was Bai Hao's father, it would have been acceptable for him to be killed by the Water Swamp Kingdom in the heat of battle. But to end his life under these circumstances didn't seem right. Besides, a living clan chief would be a lot more useful to him than a dead one. Whatever. I'm not the kind of person who likes all that fighting and killing. I might as well just use him as my personal protective talisman." Having reached this point in his train of thought, Bai Xiaochun sighed and performed a double-handed incantation gesture, then slapped his hands down onto various random places on the clan chief's body, putting over 100 restrictive spells in place. Still not convinced that he'd done enough, he pulled out some medicinal pills and forced them into the clan chief's mouth. Next, he helped himself to the clan chief's bag of holding, within which he found a sturdy rope. After imbuing the rope with some magical power, he bound the clan chief up. Throwing him over his shoulder, he said, "Ha ha ha. Let's see if the Bai clan dares to make a move against me with this protective talisman of mine." By this point, he felt prouder of himself than ever, and particularly clever. It was almost like he was able to have his cake and eat it too. It's too bad this guy is in the mid-nascent soul stage. Doing a soul search on him wouldn't do much good. However, the fact that he was able to track me down so quickly indicates that there's some sort of branding mark on me. That's the only way they could follow me so easily. Then he thought back to when the Diva Patriarch had attacked him, and suddenly his eyes glittered. It must have been then. He must have hit me with some sort of seal. He felt at his mask for a moment. The mask was extraordinary, and could completely change his appearance and aura, but it wouldn't do anything against sealing marks which had been placed on him by exterior forces. Well, who cares? When I make a move, I frighten even myself. Despite trying to work up his own courage, he was still worried. After taking a step forward, he flew up into the air, then looked over his shoulder at the clan chief. If Bai Hao's spirit is out there, I doubt he'll be unhappy with this. I'm his master, after all. Clearing his throat, he began to pick up speed. Soon, the cold wind brought the clan chief to his senses, and when he realized the situation he was in, his eyes clouded with venomous rage. "You unfilial son of a bitch. You're going to die in pain." Bai Xiaochun ignored him and kept flying. 3 days passed by in a flash, during which time the clan chief's voice grew very hoarse from the constant cursing and swearing. In the end, Bai Xiaochun actually started to get angry. Looking over his shoulder, he said, "Shut up. Aren't you getting tired of talking? If you keep yapping, I'll kill me." The clan chief interrupted hoarsely, glaring at Bai Xiaochun. "Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. But if you say one more word, I'll strip you buck naked. The clan chief's eyes went wide, and he panted furiously. His face even turned bright red. However, he closed his mouth and didn't dare to utter another word. From what he could tell, the words uttered by his unfilial son were no mere threat. And the thought of being stripped of his clothes and hung out in the open was a level of humiliation that struck him with enough terror that he shivered. Seeing that his threat had been effective, Bai Xiaochun's eyes glittered, and he smiled. The clan chief was trembling in rage, but doing his best to suppress it, the act of which seemed to be burning him alive from the inside. However, he didn't dare to push the envelope. As the chief of the Bai clan, if he was humiliated in such a way, then after he died, the Bai clan would become the laughingstock, not just of Giant Ghost City, but of the entire Wildlands. It would take years to live down such humiliation. Despite feeling like his scalp was about to explode, the clan chief gritted his teeth and maintained his silence. If I had known this would work, I would have done it way earlier. Bai Xiaochun felt slightly bad for the clan chief, but then he thought about how he'd treated Bai Hao, and his eyes began to shine with cold light. Thus, this episode comes to an end. Remember to like and comment so we can discuss the story together. Until we meet again in the next chapters.